see right off the bat, one of the things I'm going to need is a little small tripod to put the camera on. But anyways, here we are. Welcome to my channel. Today I am headed out to try a shot I've never tried before. I don't know if you've seen any pictures. I guess they call them like inception photos. And basically it is where you get a shot of, say, something like a road, and it looks like it curves up into the sky. So I actually found a program that puts all that in, maps out waypoints for the drone. I've got a Mavic Air 2, and I'm going to give that a try. I don't know how well this is going to work. It's a very bright, sunny day. As you can probably see, I got the windows are blown out in the back here. And there's still a lot of snow on the ground, so it may end up being too bright, but we'll give it a shot. If nothing else, it'll be a test run, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I actually got to the location where I was planning on doing the inception shot, and unfortunately I don't think it's going to happen. Believe it or not, I can't find a place to park. Yeah, it's to be honest with you, I'm not totally heartbroken. The conditions probably aren't the best. It's a little bit bright, it's a little bit early in the day. So maybe what I'll do, instead of doing that inception shot with the drone, I will just plan on going out later on this evening when the sun goes down. There's a little bit of cloud in the sky that might give us some nice sunset. So if that's the case, I haven't decided where I'll go just yet, but if I do go out, I'll bring you with me. We are at our destination. I don't know if you can, how well you can see this, but it's pretty washed out. But out there is a grain elevator, and also some windmills. I don't think you guys can see that. Anyways, looks like we might get a decent sunset. So hopefully I can get a good composition out of here. I haven't shot here before. I've actually shot a little bit actually behind you guys. There's a pier over there. I've shot that, and actually here's that shot. First took and edited this photo. For some reason, I didn't really care for it. And then as my editing skills grew over the year, I went back and re-edited it, and it quickly became one of my favorites. Let's get out there, see what we can get set up, and find a composition first, and then we'll get set up, and hopefully we'll end up with a good sunset. Hopefully we are at a place now where I can take a photo. I'm trying to get a photo of that building there. It's a grain elevator. Buffalo is kind of known for their grain elevators. And I apologize for the noise because there's a highway right over there. Pretty noisy. Right here might be pretty good. I don't know if I can get down. I don't want to go down this edge here. Maybe walk down that way if I can find a way to get there. Let's go see if this is open. If it's not, then we'll give that a shot. Oh, and then look, it's all closed off. Right there is Lake Erie. It's still frozen over. And then probably won't be able to hear me when I turn the camera, but if I could get down over there, like on the lake shore, I don't know. The sun might actually end up setting behind the building if I go that far. So maybe this is my best bet here. So I'm gonna set up my gear, and hopefully we'll get a good composition and a nice sunset. Here I have the camera set up on the tripod. I leveled the tripod as much as I could. It's a pretty level surface I got here. It's actually not concrete, but it's some like pavers that are on the ground. So I leveled it out just in case I want to get a panorama. Don't know if I will, but one thing I probably will do also is I will exposure bracket. And exposure bracketing is basically taking setting up your camera. Some cameras do it automatically, like mine. Some you have to do it manually. Some people may just want to do it manually anyways. But basically what it does is you take a correct exposure image, you take an underexposed image, and then you take an overexposed image. And what that does is that gives you more of a, you probably heard, dynamic range. But what that does is it allows you to have a larger dynamic range that you can play with in post. For instance, if I were to correctly expose everything right now for the building and the foreground with the lake, it probably would be, the sky would be blown out. So what it allows you to do is still have the details in the sky, because you have that underexposed image, and you can blend that exposed image, and then that'll give you more data to play with, and that way you can have the sky not be blown out while you have the correct exposure with the building in the foreground. So I'm going to get set up. I'm going to start getting my composition, see what I can get here. The railing might give us a nice cross to all the verticals. It'll give us some horizontal lines to go with the vertical lines of the building. And then we've got the horizon. The harbor here is frozen. And we'll probably get a nice, if the sun sets off or we get nice colors, we'll get a nice reflection on that ice. So let me get set up, and then I'll get right back to you. So, looking at the back of my camera here, this is my composition that I've come up with. Like I said, I've got the vertical lines in the building, grain elevator, and I've got the horizontal lines in the walkway here, and I've got the sun out there now. This is going to be a really high dynamic range image, because we're pointed right directly into the sun, and the building is at such an angle that the side that we're facing is actually in shadow. So what I've done, I mentioned before about exposure bracketing. So you can actually see I've got my exposure bracketing here, and it's just under 2 stops for the exposure bracketing, which basically means I'm going to take an image at what I feel is the correct exposure, and then the camera is automatically going to take an image that's 2 stops underexposed, and then take an image that's 2 stops overexposed. And what that does is the underexposed will darken down that sky. It'll give us the detail in the sky that even at the regular exposure you're just not going to get, because the sun is just so bright. And then what the overexposure will do is it'll give us the detail in the building and in this walkway that we might otherwise lose if we just took the correct exposure. And generally, if I take a meter reading here, I usually, when I'm doing directly into the sun, I do tend to underexpose it a little bit. And actually we can take a test shot here. Yeah, my focus got messed up when so I'll focus on the building, and I'm at f13. So on an APS-C sensor like I have in my 90D here, depth of field is usually not so pronounced, not so shallow. When with this lens at f13, I seem to be able to get a pretty good exposure, or pretty good depth of field, to where I'll probably be able to get everything in focus. I may choose to do a focus stacking as well as exposure bracketing. And basically what that means is I'll focus on the building, and then I'll focus on the foreground down here, and then maybe I'll take a shot of the sky too. But generally, with this lens and with the APS-C sensor, usually depth of field is usually pretty good at f13. So let's take a test shot, and I'll show you what the exposure bracketing does. So I'm going to underexpose it just a tad to what the light meter says, and then I'm going to take the shot. Okay, and you heard it take 3 images. So this right here, that is the overexposed. You can see the sky is totally blown out, but what I've got is detail in the building and detail in these pylons in the walkway, which, as we go to this one, this is the underexposed. You can see the sun is still blown out, but I've got some of the highlights, or detail I should say, in the sky and the reflection on the ice. And then if we go to the correct exposure, you'll see I'll use this as the base image, and then what I'll do is I'll exposure blend the overexposed and underexposed. So hopefully that makes sense, and that explains exposure bracketing. We don't really have any low clouds, so I don't think we'll get that second blush that you get sometimes at blue hour. I think once the sun goes down, I think that's going to be it. Although I wouldn't call this shot a portfolio piece, I still am pretty pleased with how it turned out. The reflection of the sun on the ice, the clouds in the sky are spectacular, the tones in the sky are amazing, and the amount of detail we were able to capture in the grain elevator just makes this shot something special. And later in the evening, I was able to capture another shot with an even more dramatic sky. Of the 2 images, I think I'd have to say I like the first one better, with the reflection of the sun on the ice. There's just something amazing about that. Well, that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and you found it informational. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.